Good afternoon, Jessica Dumas, Prime Image Life Coaching and Indigenous Insight Seminars. I finished my day one of 2 days for the City of Brandon Urban Aboriginal Peoples Council, who brought me out here to do my Indigenous Insight Seminars. And so this morning we did a full day, 9 to 4 at the Cultural Center in Brandon. And I always open up with the, sorry, I hate when I stumble, open up with the heaviness of the material that we're going to cover. When we talk about Canadians' history of Indigenous people, there's a lot of really heavy topics, a lot of things that people are not always ready to receive. So I always give them that warning is not really the right word, but give them just that heads up that, hi Ginger, giving people a heads up about some of the harsh things that they might hear when we're going through the blanket exercise activity and some of the other topics that we talk about in the Indigenous Insight Seminar. And I want to be honest, and I share this with Am I still live? I got interrupted by my phone ringing. Ginger, are you still there? I said nerve-wracking and rewarding when there are Indigenous people in the audience. We're still spreading the word. Yay. So, and the reason for that is I'm stepping out in my own faith, in my own experience, and I'm very clear about that. This is my experience. My experience is not every Indigenous person's experience, and so I openly share that. And I was very honored today to have a few Indigenous participants, including 2 elders, both female. So it was power all around. It was beautiful and wonderful to have them there, and just supportive and loving. They were both survivors of residential school. So boom, imagine that. And it was amazing to share with them, and then amazing for everyone in our group to hear their stories. So really powerful, really important to have those participants in there. Yay, thanks Ginger. Thanks for letting me know I wasn't disconnected. But I wanted to share a couple of feedback forms that I got. I got several, all really good things. The biggest complaint is always to monitor the time as we're doing a sharing circle, because we usually do about 2 at different points, because it's really important to debrief and to share. And sometimes you get those people that like to talk and talk and talk, and sometimes you just can't cut them off, right? The purpose of the sharing circle is to give that person the spot and honor them by listening to them. So that's a toughie. I'm not going to interrupt, especially an elder. But some of the feedback forms that I want to share. What would you tell people about this workshop? Powerful. So I'm not going to say who this elder was, but again, this was a residential school survivor. So she was there sharing with us her experience, firsthand experience. So really powerful. And a lot of support for the work that I'm doing from her, and I'm very thankful, and I honor her for that. Keep up the good work. We need more in IRS workshops, and what she found most valuable was open-mindedness, but she strongly agreed on a lot of the points. So that's really personal feedback for me from someone who's so directly impacted. So I wanted to share that. Another feedback form, I was surprised at how much I didn't know. And often that's something that I want to tell people. We don't know, right? We think we know, but there's so much that we don't know. So thank you for that feedback. This is an excellent workshop, and everyone should experience this blanket exercise. Your workshop is very powerful. Thank you. What would you tell people about this workshop? This was certainly an impactful and emotionally stirring day. So definitely emotions are up in the air. Really, really emotional. This training is a must for public service. So if any of you know anyone, just kidding. The concept of believing in and maintaining hope even when situations seem hopeless. So I shared some of my story of my brother who was killed by the police, and you know, I'm really open about some of those events. So I appreciate that people are acknowledging that hope. I'll certainly recommend this workshop to others. There was no fluff. Communicating even when it's painful to do so. So we did have another individual who participated in the workshop today that wasn't as prepared for this information. And so I do my best to offer resources in the community to help support people who have more questions. So anyway, I'm not going to go through all that. I'm sorry if you're still listening. Thank you. But the biggest question is, what can I do, right? What can I do now? And I don't have all the answers, and I don't claim to have all the answers. And there shouldn't be one Indigenous person in your circle that has all the answers, because that's impossible. And some more feedback was, there's so much information, how could we learn this all in one day? My workshop is one day. There's several workshops that are anywhere from 1 day to 2 weeks. This is 500 years of information that we're learning. So in order for someone to get this in a day is going to be impossible. I don't assure you that I'm going to teach you everything you need to know in 1 day, but I encourage you, get involved. I've got my Indigenous Insights page where I'm sharing all Indigenous activity stories, and the purpose for that is because we can look on Facebook, and we have friends that might share some of these stories, but sometimes you got to dig through their news feed or your own news feed to get to this information. So that's why I've created this page, so that it's just about learning about the Indigenous community and finding different ways to get involved. So find an area that you can support. So if that's women that you want to support, if it's water, children, we're all different. We're all going to find different ways that we want to contribute. And so I encourage you to take more training, invite training, review the Truth and Reconciliation calls to action. They're free online. You can download it. They're free. Review the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. Again, find it online, a PDF. It's free. Invite people to like this page, and support an Aboriginal organization in your community. So again, just my training, what I offer is just a basis of information. Took 500 years to get to where we are now. It took several, that's ridiculous for me to say that, but this timeline that I attempt to cover. And so we're not going to solve this by a 1 day workshop. We're not going to solve this by a 2 week workshop. So I encourage you, keep asking questions and get involved. And thank you so much. If any of you stayed to the end, you're really cool. Thanks so much. Have a great day.